Okay, welcome back. This is draw 10. And we have Potomaly versus Furman. Potomaly is, as you can probably guess, is Potomac team. This is the A event, so feature event here.
Potomaly has the yellow stones and the hammer.
And straight away, Skip coming out to help sweep this first stone. A little light. And that one was hogged. So, a bit slow early maybe, catching the teams off guard.
Okay, correction. Potomaly, Team Kirkman has the yellow stones and is throwing first, and Ardsley, Team Furman, has the red stones and has the hammer. Just throwing the first stone for Team Furman is their lead, Eva Liss Horniak. Second for Team Furman is Taylor Block. Vice is Karen Lucky, and the skip is Lisa Furman. For Team Kirkman, the Yellowstones, the lead is Sarah Heisko. The second is Rainey Delaney. The vice is Lisa Carosella, and the skip is Linda Kirkman. We also have 3 other games going on concurrently besides our feature game. On sheet A is Bucks County 2, Team Lynn versus Ardsley 2, Galagos. On sheet C is Bucks County, Team Freeman versus Aaron Go Lucky, Team Gray. And on sheet D, Banshee La Squaba Urlar, Team Adams versus Schenectady 1, Team Hall.
So this morning, I'm Andrew Ingalls. I'm doing the camera work today, and I'm joined here. That was just John. He was just telling you about all the teams. And we have Mike Sell as our 2 commentary gurus. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm on here, right?
You are?
Okay, there we go. Sorry. Can't hear myself in my own headset somehow, but otherwise I'm good. Yeah, it's Saturday morning. We're just getting to the thick of the Bonspiel now. Every team's got a couple games in, and now we've either got teams trying to just get themselves to Sunday, or they're in that long march through the B or the C event. But either way, we should have a lot of good competition going on today.
Yeah, Andy mentioned earlier that our feature game is in the A event. What does that mean?
So the A event, what that means is essentially these 2 teams are undefeated. So if you're not familiar, a Bonspiel that's not, for a national title or something like that, is almost like a double elimination or a triple elimination bracket. In this case, every team starts in the A event, and when you lose your first game, you fall into the B or the C or the D event, depending on when you lose and who you lose to. And so if this is an A event game, that means these 2 teams are still playing for the main, Bonspiel championship. But any team can still make it to one of the event finals on Sunday. 4 awards handed out to 4 teams that all win on Sunday. I believe the game on sheet A is also an A event game. Team Gallegos from Ardsley, they won last night in the A event.
And we'll keep you updated on as scores are posted on those other sheets as the scores are posted.
So this is Rainey Delaney throwing the second stones for Linda Kirkman's team. It's her second delivery.
Looks like she's going to try to just draw to behind their centerline guard. This is picking up a nice line, coming back to the center line. It's hard to judge the weight. I wanted to say it would look heavy, then it didn't, but there it goes over the back line. As any of you front-end players know, it's much easier to judge the weight of the stone while you're walking along with it than from sitting at the other end of the sheet watching it. Red team now trying to draw to the side of the house. This one looks like they perhaps have left this light and they're going to end up with another guard.
Yeah, and that does pull up pretty light, just a 2 guard there. So a lot of room in the house here to get one in.
Yeah, just that one red stone in the back corner of the 12-foot there. This is Lisa Carasella's first stone for the Potomaly team. Linda calling for the brushes to try to bring that around the guard. Looks like there's going to be some contact, a little bit. That might roll to the ring, not quite. A lot of guards in front, though. Linda's team still in a good position to be able to manufacture a steal here. But red with the hammer and already with one in the house, a good chance for them to get some points too. We'll see how this develops as we get up to the vice and skip stones.
You just mentioned the hammer. That means that that's the last stone that's thrown. The teams alternate their stones, so yellow threw first, and red will get the chance to throw the last stone. There are 8 stones thrown by each team total in each end. The hammer is very important because you have that opportunity to put it exactly where you want it, and nobody can do anything after that. So the objective when you have the hammer is to try to score at least 2. The objective when you don't have the hammer, it'd be great if you could steal 1 or more, but really the best you can hope for is to try to force the other team with the hammer to only score 1. If you can do that, then consistently, if you can keep the other team to score 1 when they have the hammer, and you score 2 when you have the hammer, if you do that consistently, that's a winning formula.
Yep. 2 for me, 1 for you. Over the course of 8 ends, will win you a game.
That one just going a little deeper than they would have liked into the back of the 8-foot, so.
Yes, it's a little deeper than they would have liked, and I think it's not quite as under the guard as they would have liked, especially with the vice for Team Furman here being left-handed. She's in the right hack, and she's looking right at that stone. I am of the opinion that every team should have a left-handed vice, just for that sort of situation.
I agree wholeheartedly with that.
Are you also a left-handed vice?
Indeed I am.
Oh, good. Okay.
Now this one started a little wide, but soft weight.
Oh, it's going to take the Yellowstone, roll off of it a bit. So now the Yellowstone is still shot. Red still does have 2 in the house, and the yellow one still isn't quite under the guard. So yellow really needs to protect that stone or get a second one in, or that one stone could be removed for what will suddenly turn 1 yellow into many red.
You think they'll be throwing a guard here, Mike?
I would I would hope so. But they've also got a lot of room in the house to work with, so maybe something even like in the top of the 8-foot, something to cover the stone, but also be another counter.
Well, judging from the broom position, maybe they're trying to raise their existing guard. Not quite sure what they have called here.
Yeah, that's a bit of an unusual line. It's also possible maybe that Linda's here just maybe hasn't thrown a shot this direction and wants to see what it does. Actually, she has her mic on. Let's see, maybe we can hear.
Okay, so this is the part where I say I might need your help because I don't want to be heavy.
Okay, maybe it is just a guard coming across from this side.
The hard line, I'm fine.
Oh, okay, so she's going to throw this up really high. So I think she is trying to protect her stone.
It's light. Sweep, sweep.
Sweeper's getting right on it. She wants to make sure that at least it crosses that hog line. If it doesn't cross the hog line, it'll be taken out of play.
It is going to cross the hog line. It's already over the hog line. It's going to tick their guard that they already have, but maybe rub it a little bit. And that's going to make some pretty good coverage there. There's still a port where you can see the shot stone, but it's more covered than it was, and the port is the other side now. So the skip's going to have to throw the other turn at this. And now that they are up to Lisa Furman's stones, I assume that she is right-handed, so she's going to be coming from the other hack. It's definitely a more difficult shot than it just was.
What?
Yeah, a small port there. You got to throw quite a lot of weight to get through there.
Cold. And I couldn't find my husband back there to say I need the soda.
And in the chat, we have Patty Coburn, who has solved the Plainfield Gaelic name translation. So please enlighten us if you can.
Is that Banshee Les Squaba Orlar?
Yes, that name.
Okay.
We've heard. It means La Squaba Orlar is the broom sweepers. So in this case, they are the Banshees with brooms, essentially.
Wow, really nice shot there, straight through the hole, taking out the Elecanter. Couldn't save the shooter, but Red now lying 2 in the wings.
Yep, so now Linda's got one last stone here. She's going to want to get this into the house and under some cover to try to force Lisa Furman to a single or to make a very difficult shot.
Okay.
Each team just has one stone
Yeah.
left to throw.
Yeah, I think we can promote coming from the same side. And if I'm narrow, we draw
I'm
in.
being told the correct pronunciation of that would be La Scuba or Lodge.
We just need, if we're not shot, we need to cut them down. But we got
And that's why I never bothered to actually try to pronounce that, because I knew it wasn't going to be anything like what it looked like.
Yeah, Gaelic names are pretty tricky.
I thought about that.
I mean, Gaelic, Welsh, all
let's go over here.
all those old languages from the British Isles there. Nothing matches our sort of modern pronunciations. So there's.
Whoop.
It's fun to guess, though.
Oh yeah. I was going to say nothing is spelled the way it sounds, but I'm sure back then that was exactly how those letters would have sounded. Like, there's no trick to that.
Absolutely.
I know.
It's unfortunately not part of my education, so I'm afraid I can't help you with any of those names.
It's all right. This looks like it has a nice line to maybe at least raise that guard into the house. It's going to contact the guard. It's going to roll it back. And it's not going to actually get into the 8-foot circle. So it narrows the scoring zone a bit for this final stone. But Red is still lying 2. We'll see if she can make this draw. She can touch the white ring there, she'll get a 3rd point. Most of the front of the house is covered, so they are going to have to throw this all the way to the outside. Or maybe they're going to play a little bit of a raise.
Yeah, it does look like they're going for the raise here on their tight red. Plenty of room to work with. Just need to bite the 8-foot.
This needs to be closer to the center than the yellow one that's in there now to count. Right now they're counting 2. This would be for 3.
This actually appears to have gotten outside that guard. It's coming to rest, though. It's not going to raise that stone to the 8-foot circle.
Good shot.
Not enough weight.
So the hammer is going to come up
Good
light,
shot.
and that is going to
Didn't
be
work. Oh, okay.
2 red.
Not good shot. Nice try.
Now, since red
You're up.
team
That's
Furman
the plus
scored
to that one.
with the red stones in that end,
So
the
2?
hammer switches to the other team in the next end. So red will throw the first stone this time, and yellow will throw the last stone. And that all depends. That's the hammer is determined by who scores in the previous end.
Yep, so they've put the hammer on the yellow side of the scoreboard, but the first end hammer actually was on the red team. Yellow does have the hammer now, though, as John was just pointing out. You know, being able to throw the last rock is a huge, huge advantage. So we always give that to the team that did not score last.
And in the first end, it's determined by a coin flip in this event. Sometimes they have other ways of determining it. That's one way of determining it.
So red opening the end with a pretty traditional strategy of going for the center line guard. They've got this pretty well right on the center line. A bit high for what they were looking for, but still, it's a guard that's going to cover the center of the house, and it's going to take away that shot right up the middle for yellow's last stone, unless they deal with that at some point during the end.
I gotta give you, wait a minute.
Having a bit of a pie day discussion in the chat. Patty asking, can you score 3.14? Unfortunately, no. But we have made references to using various irrational numbers on my team as our weight calls. So instead of the guards being numbered 1, 2, and 3,
Is it heavy?
we're using
No.
things like the square root of 2 and
Not if it's
E,
heavy.
and then a pi would be just putting
No, I
just the
don't
front
say
edge of the
that, I
stone into the
say
house. So it's a 3
sweep
guard
and
plus
up.
a small fraction.
Sorry.
And the number
I heard you say
3.14
heavy.
might come up as a time.
Sorry.
The sweepers sometimes carry around stopwatches, and they time when the thrower, from when it crosses the back line to when the stone crosses the hog line. And that time could be around 3.14 seconds.
It could. 3.14 seconds, I would say, is probably a relatively soft weight takeout. Probably something like maybe like hack weight. Could be maybe bumper, depending on the speed of the ice.
Copy.
But at the moment, still just the 1 red high guard. Linda looking for a rock at the top of the house.
No.
Looks like this is going to have a little too much weight, but it's falling out toward the sideline, which out on that ice that hasn't been used yet will slow the rock down. It's into the house. It is over the tee line. The opposing skip sweeping to get it out the back, and there it goes. It is fully out of the rings. It isn't fully over the back line, though, so another stone. Oh, no, it didn't. From the camera, it does actually look like it's all the way over the back line. And that's why you deal with those. The other skip has just tripped over it.
Okay.
See the sweepers sweep for different reasons. Sometimes it's for the line, and the line is being called by the skip, seeing how the stone is moving. Or also they can sweep because of the weight of the stone. Sweeping will make the stone travel further. So how do they know if they need to sweep for the weight? That's based on their judgment. They're looking at how they're seeing the stone move, and they can also use those stopwatches to give them some help to see how far the stone is going to move.
Rainey with a nice takeout here. Going to move that red stone right out the back of the house and move that yellow one off the back line as well.
Removing a trip hazard there. A nice service.
Yeah, they actually probably wouldn't have minded leaving that back there as something to stop a draw from going to the house. But they also probably don't mind it just being out of the way. I'm just never a fan of those stones back there. They didn't quite get the roll under the guard, though, so the red team is going to try to answer back with a very similar-looking takeout here. Holding the line to the edge of the stone so they can try to roll away, but they've moved it back to the nose. So we see this one rock in the house gradually just moving itself toward the front of the house. Each team just taking the turns here, trying to see if they can't hit this and roll under the center guard. The other option being, I guess, if they just keep hitting it on the nose and stacking the pile higher, eventually it won't be in the house anymore. This one appears to be on the outer half, so this will roll away from the center line, but that's not a bad roll either if it stays in. And it does hang on the edge, so it is in the house. It's not covered, but it's definitely harder to throw a takeout over to that side of the sheet.
It looks like red just going to ignore that, not be tempted to go chasing. Use the center guard instead.
Red looking just to draw for the center here, I think. Or maybe just putting up another guard. This is going to end up in the top of the house.
Yep.
Not quite under the guard, but further into the ring than the Yellowstone, so that is the shot stone.
But it's open for the Kirkman team to hit it.
Looks like that is the call.
Ideally, they'd like to roll this so that it's covered behind the red guard.
It's got a curl, it's got a curl, it's got a curl.
Looks like it's going to be outside.
It's going to be another one on the outer edge. It's going to move the red. Oh, it might not have contacted enough. It didn't, so it moves the red across the house.
That was a little wide on the burn corner.
The red one's still shot, but not anywhere near the guard anymore.
Furman team will try to place this rock where the other one was, maybe more buried behind the cover. Sweeper's not touching it.
No, this has some nice weight, but I think it's just not going to bend enough to get under that guard.
This one running very straight here.
Right to the back of the button there. Well, back of the 4-foot circle. Linda doing a little gesture there, I believe, calling for sit on it was the call. It's important as a skip to have a few sort of non-verbal signals. The ice shed can get rather loud with 4 games going on. Looks like they might want to let this curl a bit. There they go. Sweepers are off.
Yeah, this one really hanging out there again. He's trying to come back.
Nice wait for just a little touch. And moves the red back enough that the yellow is shot.
And now that yellow one is open for a hit by the Furman team.
So Skip not wasting any time there, immediately going for the call.
Yep, and not taking a very wide broom there, putting the broom right on the edge of the stone. So she's either looking to come all the way across the face, which she probably is to try to roll under, and or, probably both in this case, throwing a good amount of weight at this. There's a pretty wide range of weight you can throw on a takeout, from just over the back line to very, very hard. Probably looking for what we would call sort of normal here, maybe a little bit less to let the stone bend around.
Yeah, the danger with throwing this high weight is it's harder to be accurate in the place where you throw it, which is what
case in point.
here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Just,
So she pushed that wide of her target, and instead of removing the yellow from the house, it runs into the red. But it did move it back to where the Yellowstone is only second shot at the moment.
Also, with the high weight, you don't have the opportunity for the sweepers to adjust where it's going to go.
Yep. I thought about hit and roll, or if I
correct,
hit
and it doesn't curl as much.
A little bit straighter,
so
it's going to kick. No.
If there are times when you need that weight because you need you have a very narrow window to throw through, and you need to just make sure the rock stays very straight.
Yeah.
In that case, they did want to come over the target stone.
I hate the shot. I know.
And
I hate the shot. I hate the shot.
Linda expressing not the utmost confidence in this shot.
All right, don't be wide. Don't.
yeah, but recognizing that it is the right shot to play,
Okay.
just
we got to keep it moving.
gonna
Your,
trust that she can do it.
Slider, get it ready. They can get the stones already. Get ready in order to keep it moving. Okay.
What is it about this shot that makes it difficult?
All right, we're going to hit and roll.
Well, in general, it is harder to hit a
Plan B,
stone
there's a backing there.
that's
good.
further
Okay.
from the center line.
Okay.
It's tough to spot these wide lines
I remember
very precisely.
thinking it down there, and then I lost that thought by the time I got
This one's
down
still
here.
pretty wide open, and
Okay.
she is on the correct side of the sheet. She's right-handed, throwing from the left hack at a stone that's on the left side. So she's probably just throwing this rock straight. So while it is probably a little, I mean, no curling shot is super easy. But this one's not incredibly difficult. She's all over the stone here. I'm sitting right in front of it, so she's got this hit. I think they probably want to let this curl a bit. Okay, no, there it goes. They want to hold this line now. They're going to hit the red. They're going to roll to the center.
It's over curling here. I think they needed to sweep that a little more, but they do get a nice roll inside.
They did get a nice roll inside. They are sitting 1 and 2. And the stone that is shot, while it is exposed, has a few things behind it.
No, there will be no
And there is a guard that is guarding it partially.
There is. So if
You're looking at a double, but that's not what I'm looking at.
if red is able to make the hit, if they can hit it sort of right on the nose, they'll just punch it right out through the space between the red and the yellow in the back. But if they're off a little bit, if they hit it a little bit inside, they could jam on the yellow,
Thank you.
which will still take out a yellow, but leave the one in the house.
Let me step out of your
If they hit it the other way, they could jam the yellow onto the red, which would leave both yellows in the house. And so it would depend where the shooter ends up, who's going to be lying shot after this.
And this is the last stone for the red team. It's very important that.
And actually, looking at the angle from the far camera, they are lined up for a double, but the top of that top stone is actually pretty well under the guard. They're going to bend this around the guard. Knows that one straight back, just missing the double, but taking out one yellow and lying shot up there in the 4-foot circle.
I thought follow the same path. Yeah. This way.
I hear Linda saying, let's just follow the same path. That's a pretty good idea.
If I've got backing over, well, I guess either way I have backing.
If Linda can just repeat that, move the red out through the gap there, then she will take her 2 points.
Yep. This is the hammer coming up. Right now, red would score 1 if the end was finished. The best that yellow can do is to knock that the red shot rock out and make it go further away than their other yellow rock and score 2. That's the best that they can do. There's no way to score 3, although there is another yellow rock in the house. There's no way to make that closer than the other 2 red rocks.
Looks like she's setting the target pretty wide here. I think she's going to throw this a little bit soft, let it bend around the guard. The big risk here then is that she catches that red stone to the outside edge of it and drives it into the yellow stone that's behind it. She would probably still get 1 point out of that. Sweeper's holding this line around the guard. This is a nice shot. She's going to hit the red.
No!
Whoa.
No! It looks like it picked.
So something happened there. Maybe a rock was burned.
Did it pick or did she
Opposing
touch
player
it?
intervened to stop it from moving. So a little confusion here. Looks
Yeah,
like they must have thought the rock had been burned.
Yeah, it looks like the red vice thought that was a burned stone and stopped it before it hit the stones in the house, which wouldn't have been a bad play. You're not exactly supposed to do that, but the option after a burn would be to put everything back where it was, and so she wanted to just make sure nothing moved so they knew.
It may have depended on when the burn happened. If it happened before the hog line, the rock should be removed immediately, but if it was already past the hog line, it's a little more complicated.
Right, yeah, you're technically supposed to let it resolve, and then one of your options as the opposing skip is to put everything back the way it was, and so she may have just saying, I'm going to just put everything back the way it was anyway. But I think the real question is, was the stone burned? I think she saw it make a funny move and assumed it was burned, so she just caught it.
And then the other person just kicked it out of the way.
She has to let it come to rest to where
it would have, so it would have hit that, and then we would have gotten at least 1.
Yeah.
2 because.
So still a little confusion here. They're trying to work out exactly what the situation is.
Okay. All right. GNCC ruling.
Okay, we've got an official out of the ice.
Let it come to rest. And then the 2 vices that are in the house decide what would have happened had it not been. What most likely would have happened anyway. But you should not have. You should have let it do it. Right.
So before the hog. No.
What? I'm sorry.
Just your burning. We'll talk about that in a second. So we should have gotten
these 2 gals that have to decide what would have happened.
What would have happened?
I think had it not been burned after the hog.
Yeah, I think it would have hit it. I just don't know where it would.
And I think it would have had to.
So it sounds like it was burned after the hog line, but the opposing vice was wrong to intervene so quickly. She should have let the rocks come to rest and then make the decision.
Okay.
So very clear ruling there from the official.
If you burn it after
So now the vices have to decide what would have happened, and it looks like they have made a decision.
Okay, so you just say
And that's
before the hog.
And so a lot of interesting discussion points come up from that. One, just the interesting rule about the burn stone before or after the hog line. It's a ruling that doesn't really get to be brought up a lot of exactly what you do in that situation. A lot of the times, a burn happens, between the hog lines, just trying to drag a stone for some more weight or hold a line.
It would have.
So
And
burn means you can touch it with your broom, touch the rock with the broom, or with your foot.
With actually
anything?
any part of your person, I have seen or heard of a pin falling off of a sweater and burning a stone, glasses falling off, change falling out of a pocket, all sorts of things. Anything touching the stone makes it what's called a burn stone.
So if it happens before the hog line, the team that's throwing should just stop the stone at that point.
Correct.
It's
The
out of
stone is
play.
not yet in play, and so burning it just removes it from play. If the stone is already in play, meaning over the hog line, still between the sidelines, not over the back line, as we heard from the GNCC official there, the correct line to follow there is to let it come to rest, and then the two people in the house, either two skips or in that case, because the skips were throwing, the two vices, will decide what would have happened had it have not been burned. And in that case, since most people didn't even notice it had been burned, probably didn't deflect the stone.
And the impetus is on the team that caused the stone to be burned to call it.
That is true. It's
They'll say, I burned this stone, and then allow.
yes, it is sort of an etiquette issue, but it's expected that all the players call your own fouls out here. We don't have referees or umpires on a curling sheet. But Dave also asking the ultimate point here, what was the scoring ruling? And I believe the scoring ruling was 2 yellow. We will relay that to you when they hang it on the scoreboard. But from our listening in on the skip's microphone, it sounded like the agreement was, regardless of where that stone was burned, it was going to take out the red, and it hit it right on the nose. I don't think there was any way it was going to jam. I think yellow had a pretty convincing shot for 2 there.
You can do it, Sarah.
And then the other sort of point that, the corollary to all this, this is what we call a 5 and under. Every player in this tournament has 5 years or less of curling experience. And so that sort of explains, one, how a stone might end up burned. We have some players maybe not used to working in the back of the house, not used to sweeping in different places on the sheet as where they might normally be used to, and not necessarily knowing that exact rule, and because it probably hasn't come up with it before. But we've got people here ready to handle that sort of thing.
And it looks like it was 2 yellow was the result. They've hung the score now.
Yep.
So now it's 2 each. Getting
Some
started.
scores have been hung on the other sheets as well. Sheet A is Bucks County 2, Team Lynn versus Ardsley 2, Team Gallagher. That is tied 1-1 with 2 ends finished. Sheet C, Bucks County Team Freeman versus Aaronville Curling Team Gray. It's also tied 1-1 after 2 ends. And Sheet D.
Meanwhile, that draw just a little too heavy going through the house. It looks like that yellow inside the rings is biting the rings. Can't be really sure from our camera angle, but it looks to be.
Sheet D is 3-1 in favor of.
Lighter is better.
Oh yeah, we don't actually have the colors for the Sheet D game at the moment. We will get those and relay that back to you.
I don't think, is it T? Didn't look like it was T.
So Sheet D is the Adams
I was
rink
trying to get out of your way.
from, I forget what club they're from, and the Hall rink from Schenectady.
Stop the whole thing, girl. That was it. Your best one. of
The
all
Adams rink
time.
being the one that we got the official pronunciation and translation for earlier in the game. That's the Banshees La Scuba or Lodge. As we're now told, that means essentially the broom sweeping Banshees, which is a fantastic team name for a St. Patrick's Day Bonspiel. So it's 3-1 red over there on D. We will figure out which team is red and which team is yellow. But if you're one of those people that just likes to root for a particular color of stone, then yay red, or boo yellow, or whatever. I don't know.
Meanwhile, both teams really struggling to find the draw weight at this end. A lot of rocks sailing straight through. Maybe just got out of the rhythm a bit with all that deliberation at the end of the last end. So not a lot in play right now.
Yeah, I think the sort of the deliberation about the burn, as well as I think Linda especially, I did overhear her on the microphone talking about the time, the match being held to a 1 hour and 40 minutes clock on the first 6 ends.
It looks good. Looks good. Sweet.
And Linda noticing that their first 2 ends have been taking longer than she would have liked, and so asking her front end to do a few certain things to keep the game moving faster.
Okay.
Yeah, you always like to see that. It's nice to keep a good pace going in your games. You don't want to get too bogged down.
The score on sheet D, Schenectady Team Hall has 3, and the Adams team has 1.
And so yellow able to put a draw really nice right to the top of the 4-foot, possibly even top of the button. Red makes the hit, but doesn't remove it, kind of glances off of the stone, leaves the yellow in the house. So they've got the biter off to the side, and they've got that stone in the back of the 4-foot, back corner of the 4-foot.
Top 4.
Linda now probably looking for a guard somewhere. She's got the broom set up, looking like she's probably looking for something near the center line.
Yeah, I thought I overheard her say top 4, so looks like
okay.
they're going all the way
Do
in.
you want a guard or split?
Oh, now they're reconsidering.
Yeah, splitting the house, not a terrible call here either. If you can get your stones in the house and far enough apart that they can't all be taken out the same shot, then they sort of guard each other in a way that they're not covered, but if you've got 2 on opposite sides of the house, the other team can't take them all out. They take 1 out, you just put it back.
This one looking pretty good.
This is right on the tee line. That's a very nice draw. And they're far enough apart and relatively flat enough that any double takeout there would have to be thrown very hard. Red team now just trying to, a good hit on the outside yellow and rolls across, but rolls behind the other yellow. Not able to make the double takeout there.
Put it back.
A lot closer than I thought a shot at that weight would have been. Very nice, lively roll off of the object
Good weight
stone.
last time.
So Linda now left with just the 1 stone in the 4-foot circle, trying to put the other one back that was just taken out.
Then sweep! All the way!
Perhaps doesn't quite have the perfect draw weight that the first one had. They are going to get this into the house, I think. Yes, there it goes.
Okay, it was close.
Not all the way into the 8-foot though, so that's going to be the 3rd shot stone. So red is going to be shooting just for the 1 in the 4-foot there. Maybe a freeze, actually. Taking, yes, I hear someone say T-line, so they're looking to freeze onto that stone. If you're not familiar with the curling terminology, a freeze means to leave the rock so that they're touching each other. Makes it harder to remove one because the other one is up against it.
Line looking pretty good on this one. A little bit more weight than they intended, I think.
Yes, so they're going to move the yellow. Ends up being a pretty good result for them nonetheless. The shooter is going to remain in the back of the 4-foot circle to be the shot stone. The yellow moves out to touch the edge of the 12-foot circle.
Come down and sit on it. No,
But it's still further in than the second red. So at the moment it is just one red.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah.
That red stone in the 4-foot circle looks
well,
like it can be hit,
if I come from this side, I've got backing over
but they're not
there.
going after it right now. Looks like they're going to try to
Right. They're
freeze
gonna-
to the rocks on the edge of the 8-foot circle.
John in here, but we're hammer.
Yeah, there's about half of that redstone peeking out behind the yellow in the top of the house. So it could be hit, and even more likely would probably be to throw a bit of a softer shot and just sort of bend around that rock at the top of the house.
Yep.
But it looks
We
like,
gotta come, I think,
let's see if we can't turn Linda up.
or here, so I have, yep. And if I'm heavy, we just take it out. If
Okay.
we just bump it back, we're fine too.
Yep, and so it looks like she is going to
Okay.
try to draw down to the redstone with the plan B in mind of the just, if we hit it, we hit it. That's definitely better to be heavy than light on this,
Okay, we're
as
gonna
long
have-
as it's on the line.
Plan A, sit on
Taking
it.
very tight
Plan
ice here,
B,
though, so I
land on the back.
they
Plan
may need
C,
to
take it
revise
out.
that. If they're putting a softer weight.
Yeah, I think they
And plan
probably.
D, don't F up our shot.
Wise words,
No,
indeed.
I like plan A drawing in. That. What, not to mess up your shot? Okay.
A lot of communication is needed on a curling team. You'll hear the skip talk to the sweeper to tell them what is the plan.
All right, so I agreed with Andy that the stone, or that the broom was probably a little narrow. She looked to be a little bit outside the broom, so I think she actually hit a very nice line. Oh, did the rock just switch handle? I think it did.
Yeah, it really either picked or lost his handle there. And this was definitely a plan B.
Yeah, that was definitely they had to audible there. And I was thinking maybe they could even crash and take the red out the back there, but they didn't. So red is still going to be shot in the back 4-foot. The yellow is second now, but that ending up
Did
not.
it pick on something and just went over that way? But it went that way.
It either picked on something
Okay, this is the game of picks.
or maybe just didn't have enough rotation on it to start, and so just in the course of the travel flipped over, but definitely
that's
just
right. We don't have hammer.
just an unfortunate break there for the yellow team.
I thought no, we were discussing, I thought we had hammer. No, that's right, yep. I wouldn't have played that way.
So a little confusion there.
Yep.
Linda's team.
Oh, Linda's saying she wouldn't have played that way if she
Linda.
had realized she didn't have the hammer, but I still think she had the right idea. If you can nestle down onto that red stone, whether you have the hammer or not, you're going to probably force a single.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I don't think it was a bad call at all.
But Lisa Furman,
Lisa and I were down there talking about us having hammer. Well, we've got hammer. And she didn't say we don't have hammer. I would have played that completely differently. And sweep it through.
Lisa
Now,
Furman's
slow
going
down
to
there.
play that
No,
freeze
don't.
basically herself.
No, I had a double.
And there it is. It's in the
I
back
did
of
a
the 4 as
double
well. So now red is lying 2.
Yes.
But
I
you
still
hear
have a
Linda
double
saying,
on my back.
don't sweep that too far back. I want to leave the double. And it is still there. So she's got a pretty wide target here. She could either draw into that pocket and sit on top of them and play a shot,
Or what I think she's going for here is to pop that top red one, split it off the back, get both of them out. And depending on the way the top one rolls after it hits the back one, she could probably get all 3 of them out. But one stone at a time. Stone is away. It's got good solid hit weight. Needs to come back in a little bit. Here it comes.
It's pretty close.
1, 2. Oh, doesn't quite get the third, but that's fine. That is going to leave yellow lying 3 after a very nice double takeout.
Yeah, really a great shot there from Linda, and really forcing a single now for red.
Is that us?
And not an easy draw either.
No, yellow is now, or red is now going to have to either play a sort of soft tap on one of these yellows to move it back and rest on it, or just take this, just the clean draw right into the forefoot. But that's a great shot, especially after the bad break on the last one. It was a good way to capitalize on red, leaving a stone just not quite in the right place.
But all she needs to do is draw in.
Well, Linda's saying they just need to draw, and that's true, but still, you've done your job, forced them to a single point. So she should be pretty happy with the way this end has turned out. It looks like they are going to go down and try and tap or rest on that yellow or tap it back.
Yeah, and that's definitely a safer play than drawing the other direction. As a skip, throwing the hammer, it's a lot of pressure, especially at the moment with yellow lying 3. You definitely need to make sure that you can stick this. So play the direction that gives you a little bit more of a margin of error, and you know you can be a little heavy here if you have to. Here this one comes, breaking off the center line.
It's
curling very hard though. They need to hold this to touch the yellow.
And good sweeping there. We'll hold it.
And they do touch the yellow back. Sit in the edge of the forefoot for 1 red.
So nice shot there. Nice soft weight.
Okay. All right, sweet. I got to get down there.
But just the single.
Where is?
So well played. Double with Linda Kirkman's last stone. Forces Lisa Furman to throw the draw to the forefoot for the single. So we will move into the 4th end with the Furman rink up 3-2.
And scoring updates on sheet A. We have a score of 2-1 in favor of Bucks County 2 over Ardsley 2. On sheet C, a score of 2-1 after 3 ends in favor of Aaron Go Curling Team Gray over Bucks County Team 3. And on sheet D, the score remains 3-1. No score posted for the 3rd end yet. Score 3-1 in favor of Schenectady 1, Team 1.
Heads here. Top it. Lighter is better. It looks like a 5, 6, 7.
So I'm looking pretty heavy. Linda calling T-line, but I think it's going to be more than that. It's going to be all the way through here.
Yes, exactly. Dead. You killed it.
Sorry, dear.
Linda expressing a small amount of grief at the loss of that stone. But that's why you have 8 of them.
So very long guard here for drawing around. And so long that it doesn't provide as much protection as if it were tighter, because you have a lot of room to curl around. You can still even get some buried rocks with a little bit of weight, usually. So
Nice one.
this one looks like it's just going to come in the top of the house. Pretty good draw, well buried. It is accessible because the guard is so long, but not an easy shot.
Yeah, it is accessible. They can come around.
Oh, it's Lisa again.
But they're going to have to come around with some weight because it is at the top of the 4 foot there. And if you were to come around and sit on it, then the red stone is still going to be shot stone.
Can you see it?
Yeah, red would love to pick
you
that
take
guard
it
up
out?
and move it, you know, 6 feet or so towards the
From this
towards the
side or
house.
this side? Which do you want?
Linda is
Okay.
spending a little bit of time working with the shooter here, determining how they want to throw the shot. It looks like the
It's got a curl, so.
outturn does have a little bit more available to hit on the stone. But ultimately, if you crash on that guard and move it out of the way, that's a pretty good result too.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to miss wide on this one. There's plenty of weight thrown there.
Yeah, it's coming up the center line. It should have the weight to get by the
Gotta
guard.
Get past the guard.
Nope, it ticks the guard.
Okay, that was. She's got to put it back.
Yep, they're putting it back. That
I was
is
hoping that.
a free guard zone violation. So another rule, if you're not familiar with, the first 4 stones in the end, if they are short of the house, are in what is called the free guard zone, and the opposing team cannot
If you
remove
curl
them
sweep,
while the
it's not
first
gonna
4
curl.
stones are being thrown. So that guard can be removed later in the end, but the yellow team cannot take that red out.
And I knew that was a danger when I called that.
Wait if you can, Carter. As long as you can.
So this one looking pretty nice. Looks like they're just gonna rest on their, tap their existing red, lie 2. Top of the button. So Linda gesturing there, I think, for big takeout. Split these rocks out.
Yep, and you can do that here if you can
If you
hit
only
that.
get one, that's fine too.
Yep. So I'm expecting her. Oh, yep, there she goes. She got the broom. I think I would even maybe skinny that up a little bit more, but a good chance to definitely
Line
hit
is
at
good.
least 1 stone here.
Line is good. No. No. It'll get past. It'll get past.
She's well past the guard. She's going to get at least 1 of these. There she goes and rolls over to sit on the other stone.
Good job.
A really nice shot. I mean, it really sets that up to bump that red out on a future shot, so should be pretty happy with that.
That's true. The red is pretty well guarded, but the yellow one is peeking out enough that you can hit it, and with it resting on the red, hitting the yellow will drive the red out. So Linda's setting up in a nice spot there because the yellow is not going to be very easy to remove from the house. And that is what you're looking for with the hammer, is stones either covered or in some other way locked into the house.
So red looking to take that opportunity away with a guard here. Take away any potential raise. Tap out. And a pretty good draw there. Pretty good guard.
That just.
Perhaps
Yes.
wanted that hair closer to the center line.
So Linda may think about here maybe a peel or a tick, some way to move those guards out to the side or out of play instead of up the center line, giving her room on the wings to bury a stone. See how she approaches the rest of the end.
Looks like she's thinking about accessing that red from the left side of the sheet as we look at it, but a tricky shot. You're quite likely to accidentally remove your own yellow that way, so I wouldn't be keen to play that. So change of plan.
Looks like she's going to just draw here.
It looks like it, just maybe draw on top.
Yeah, I think the longer you stand there looking for a way to get around the guard and can't think of one, I think that means more likely you probably should just remove one of the guards.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And sometimes you can get sucked in, you know, just draw, and you don't think that, you know, peeling the rocks maybe just seems like a waste of a shot, but
It's going on through.
often it is your best opportunity. And that one just a little heavy, slipping out the back of the house, so missed chance. So another opportunity to guard up here for red. Looking for a little bit wider line this time. Had a really nice weight on the last one, so want to replicate that.
Let it curl, guys. Let it curl if you can. Okay. Sleep.
This one looking lighter though. This one looking very light.
Yes, this one is looking like another guard that they wish they could pick up and move forward about 6 feet.
Unfortunately, not making it across the hog line there, so really a missed chance there. You had a lot of room there to make that guard count. Could be anywhere in the 2-3 zone.
Can you kick this red one out?
Even a very high guard would have been okay.
Or do you want to just draw in?
Linda looking again at trying to take that red out, but really not very palatable looking shot.
No, I think throwing for it isn't a bad play, just because I think you are then likely to end up with a tick on one of the guards. Maybe split apart, leave a couple of
We're
corners
not
up.
shot. Okay.
So Linda saying that they're not shot. You can see on our overhead camera
Yeah.
that's indeed the case.
Sitting on our yellow. Yep.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what I was.
they definitely need to remove a guard here if Linda wants to be able to make a shot with her last two
Guards
stones.
back into
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I think you could peel either of those two guards, play for the closer one, and if you're a little inside, you take the top one.
Which
Either
you
way
wanna do.
helps your
Which you
situation.
wanna do.
Yeah, if you can, and if you take out the inside, like the
Which
low
you wanna
guard, then
This
you've got
side or
the
that
yellow
side?
onto the red
Okay.
shot open up.
All right.
And if you take out the high one, then you've got the direct hit on the red one opened up. So either one out of the way gives you a good shot with the skip stone.
So we'll see what the decision is. Had a bit of discussion there with the vice.
And looks like they're going to just go with a draw. If they can bury this and get to shot, then also not a bad place to be. The worst result would probably be leaving it,
It's going
know,
through.
top 8, top 4 out there on
It's
the
going
side,
through.
letting
No, it's
the
way
red
heavy.
team have a chance to hit and roll under for another chance, but that one's going to be too heavy.
Yeah, that one easily through the rings there, at least hack weight there, so bit of a struggle at the moment to find that draw weight. And so I think it will be another guard attempt here. Not too much ice taken, must be playing fairly straight. We'll see how this one curls.
5-6.
Sweeper's not touching this one, also seems to be heavy.
No.
This one should start slowing down. This is probably going to be, I was going to say T-line, but above the T-line. So now there's a target for Linda. She can hit that and then roll back to the center line.
Why wouldn't they sweep that to get it closer than the yellow shot that's there?
No, let's come this way.
Well, it's a good question, John. I think
Yeah,
they could have done that.
Where it is at
That's
the
why.
moment, it's hard for Linda to hit that and roll to shot because the stone is up high. If that stone were down, say on the
can
tee
do it.
line, Linda could freeze onto it or tap it back and gets a shot. I think as low as it is, you could still hit it and roll back, you know, down into the 4-foot circle.
It's got to curl in. It's
Looks
gotta
like they're
curl in,
trying
it's
to
gotta
tap this
curl in.
red,
It's got to curl in.
but I don't think they're going to curl over enough.
This might curl. Nope, it's going to go into the back of the rings.
I had to sweep to get it around that. She might have been right on. But
Well, Linda suggesting she had to sweep to get around the guard, but I do think they had plenty of room. I think just a bit of a misjudgment there. The weight was pretty nice for that little tap. Backline weight.
Oh, yeah, if they could have just sort of peeled the red off the back of the yellow, maybe moved it out of the 4-foot circle and left yellow lying shot. So, you know, a creative idea of what to do with the situation in the house.
So a much simpler decision process here for red. They really just want to guard center area, just the right of the center line. Take away any opportunities for Potomaly. Not sure I can say that correctly. Potomaly, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going for. The Potomac and I guess a
Anomaly?
maybe, or I'm thinking if one of the members of the team, I think Lisa, is out of another club. And so it's a combination of the club names. The only other club that I could think is merged with Potomac there is maybe Ardsley. Oh, Philly. Oh, that's what it is. It's Philly. Yes, that's right.
I see. So skip stone coming up here. Lisa Furman. Had a very solid game so far.
So she's probably looking to guard that stone that's on the corner of the 4-foot, preventing Linda from being able to play a hit on that and get to her 1 or 2 that way. And they've got this over the hog line and in a pretty nice line.
Yeah, pretty nice guard there.
So it covers the inside edge especially, which is where Linda really wanted to try to get to hit hard, roll across onto the yellow, and maybe pop the red off as well.
we're sitting 2,
So now
so
the
most they can get is 1 at this point. But
the only way,
if I come down and try to kick that out.
Yeah, I think you should.
when Linda can use the red still to try to roll in and get her single, or she can try to draw for her single
I
here.
was trying to get it. It was my fault.
Yeah, not an easy draw
It was my
path
fault.
build
I
now.
was trying to get it
Seems
around
like
that.
you may be able to draw on the left side and
All right,
essentially
come
tap
up
your
with
own
it
yellow
on
in a
the
little bit.
outside.
Okay.
If there's enough room to get tapped through
Yeah,
past that
I was
red.
thinking about that. Or we could, can we just
Not an easy
draw in
situation for
through
Linda.
here? While that's still open, if I kick that out. Yeah, but if I come in. What would be there next? Guard it up again on this side.
May consider playing
they're-
peel at
yeah,
this point.
they're trying to
Leave
kick
something
that
better
one
for your
over
last
more.
one. Could potentially try a double peel.
Yeah.
Two of those center guards.
Drawn in here. Yeah.
But Linda not really
We can
looking at that
always do
option.
that.
Doesn't fancy that.
Can't take too much time thinking. I think we need to just go ahead and go for it. About here maybe. Yeah.
They're going to try an out turn draw.
All right, we're going to try and draw in through the whole.
Looks like very tight ice though for out-turn draw. But yes, that looks like that is the decision.
Plan C is just don't be wide.
And difficult to, I don't think they'll be able to access the button area on this path.
And D, don't help them.
Yeah, that's good call there, you know, for Linda. She's got not a bad idea of what she wants to do here. She needs to get around the guard that's on the right of the center line and then get inside the rock that's in the 8-foot there. If she can get to the inside edge of it and touch it, she can use that to sort of roll her into the 4-foot circle. This needs to curl a lot, though. Or at the very least, if it's going to crash on this, it needs to hit it hard enough so that it crosses the 4-foot circle and doesn't actually promote it.
And it does, so...
So that's not... In a vacuum, it's not the worst result. It opens up the draw port a bit for Linda's hammer.
Because they
yeah, it definitely creates some more space here, so I think...
but it does make a pretty nice hit and roll opportunity for Lisa Furman.
Not at all. My
Or
feet
even
are
just a hit and
sweating
stick,
right
because
now.
if she hits that and just sits in that same spot, now she's sort of blocking the draw lane.
On through is even better.
Yeah, I think so, and yeah, a slight roll inside maybe as well, yeah. So a good chance here to put some pressure on, get the steal. Furman, Lisa Furman here has been pretty accurate on her takeouts so far this game, so I think this would be close.
Sweeper's on it pretty early, on it very heavily. Now off, they need it to turn to cross the face. They're on the inside half, inside roll, but not into the 4-foot, just biting the edge there, so that's
Really
going to
good
put Red
What was that?
as first and third shot, but it does block up that draw
Still
line.
only sitting one, yep. I do the same
Yeah, very nice shot
around
there.
and come in
They'll
the
be pretty happy
right
with
way
the
this
situation
time.
here. Don't see any easy way to get shot for Linda.
Unless if we really want
I
to
think if you draw around
Yeah.
the right, you can get
well, if we
most of
want-
the stone
really
into
want
the
to get
4-foot
balls, we
circle,
come in here
down
and
around the
kick theirs
T-line
out
or in
to
the
two.
back four.
No, we can't do two.
And that would
because
be a
would
good draw
further
for
out. Let's go
one.
that way.
It's not really any way to get both of those reds out the way the guards are lined up.
You don't think? Do you want to try that shot?
Yeah, and a tough draw too, just to get your one. But it is a shot, it is available.
Exactly, yes.
But looks like they're looking at a few other options. Maybe they're going back to this idea
Yeah.
of picking out this red.
What the heck? It's one. If we give up one, and we'll get
And
more
it looks
the
like they
next
are
time.
going to try that.
If you can do that, you can get your two. If you can stick the shooter somewhere also on the edge of the 4-foot.
Okay.
Tough shot, this.
Stay at home.
And this probably has the
Make this
better
with a chance of having two.
pro
If I
side
don't,
miss.
we only give up one.
If you're a little wide,
And Lisa's
or if
plan
you hit it
is-
and just don't hit it far
and
enough,
if we lose, we play it tonight.
then you can't make
So
this really any
we're gonna
worse.
try
You're
and
not throwing
try to do
at
what
a
I
red
did
stone
with
that's not
Lisa's,
counting
take it
to
out.
accidentally promote it in.
Yeah.
The only thing I worry about here, Mike,
hopefully,
is you could potentially
Oh,
hit
the
your
excitement.
top yellow, just slice it. And
You
push
could
it
if you're
through.
if you're heavy, you could accidentally take out the yellow. It's pretty well frozen on the red, so I think if you hit the yellow, unless you hit it pretty sharply
was
to the
that?
side, you should also move the red as well, which can also be another way to get
Awesome
one. If you can just pop those apart.
Oh,
Dave is
okay.
asking in the chat for a
I may
sheet C
need some
update.
sweeping.
Through 5, we've got the red team on C, which is the Erico Curlin Team Gray from Potomac, and the yellow team, the Bucks County Freeman Rink, are tied 3-3 through 5. Yellow got a 2 in the 4th to make it 3-2, and then red got 1 in the 5th to make it 3-3.
This one, it looks pretty close.
I think she's got a little touch there. Oh, it touched the yellow first,
Oh,
but the yellow, oh, I can't tell which is closer from the camera.
we're trying to have a look with our overhead. But the Vice is busy having a look herself, so
Yep, all I see is the
might
vice.
measure it. It looks
If
close. It
you're
looks
looking
like
that
it
close.
looks red to me. Hard to say. It's very close.
Okay.
It's a really nice try there from Linda. I think it would have been nice to catch the red on its own.
If Lisa
Thank you.
would
That's
get
what I
out
was
of the
gonna
way,
say,
the other
is
vice
that
could probably
not too
take a
many
look.
people in the house. Only the vices should be in the house.
It seems to be red, but it's hard to
I
say.
said measure. I said measure.
May have a measure here.
What's the worst?
At this point, if you're looking at it that long, I think the play is to measure just because if you can't tell, you should just go ahead and get out the stick.
Doesn't it
You're
kill
just
you
wasting more
when
time
stick and
staring
you
at
can't
it.
go in and look. No,
I think
it
so.
kills me.
And they still haven't decided, so
Kills me.
they
I
will
just
get the
don't
measuring
know.
stick out.
Measure, measure, measure.
Oh, they've agreed on a number. They're
What's
moving the
your-
rocks.
Are we not, us?
Well,
Red?
there is an agreement. Sounded like it was one red.
Yep,
Ah.
one red.
So took a good long look at that one.
Linda with a pretty nice attempt on
That was a good try.
the shot, though.
Absolutely.
But that is going to go in as a steal of 1 to put the Furman rink up 4-2. Looking around at some of the other scoreboards, Sheet A is in their 5th, but they are 2-2 after 4. That's Bucks County, the Lynn rink versus the Ardsley Gallegos rink. They're in the 5th over on D, but they haven't hung a fourth end score. So the last update we have is that it was 4-1 Hall after 3. And Enrique, we will see you soon. Yes.
Top 8, top 12.
So that guard going over to the sideline there. Pretty useful for Linda with the hammer to use that. So I'm not sure that's was the intention of the red team. Or perhaps happy themselves to draw the play to the wings. So draw behind attempt here.
Come on, let's get it over the line. Get it
And
over the
Linda
line.
coming out to help.
Linda with her curling pin collection, rattling around the room there.
Up, 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 up.
So it is in play. It's over the hog line, and it's not a bad spot for a high corner guard, but because of where the red guard is, it's not really guarding anything that wasn't already covered. But rocks in play is step 1.
Going for center guard this time, I think. A little more line. This one looks like a better line.
This one taking a nice dive toward the center line here. They're going to be pretty happy with the line this is on. Oh, it's even curling harder.
I think they're trying to bring it in now.
Now
Just
they've
to bite.
got it in
And
as a biter. That's a pretty good spot for that stone. Linda going to take opportunity here. That stone is in the house, so it is not a free guard. So fire away, she says. I don't think she actually said fire away, but she should have.
The sentiment was definitely there.
Oh, this is well wide of the broom on the release. Maybe soft enough to pick up a little curl, but I don't think it's going to have enough
No,
to
it's
get
going on
back to
through.
that stone.
Yeah, it looked like just an overthrow there, trying to throw it too hard.
An overthrow, or I think maybe just a
Nice
bit of just a loss of
back.
footing on the slide.
I know. I know.
So it looks to me like the call there was to tap this red that's in the house and try and push it further behind the cover. So just a T-line start weight.
Yeah, pushing this to the side under the corner guards would be a great shot. And even just hitting it on the nose and using the shooter as the guard would be another great way to play this. It looks like they've got at least one of those two. They are going to hit it onto the nose.
Move it back into the 8-foot. Sit
Very
right
nice
above
shot.
it.
Very nice.
Well
All
done.
right, Rainey. Draw in behind it.
Yeah, the draw behind is a good aggressive play. Don't worry too much about the red rocks. Just try to get your yellows where you want them. I know just sitting here where I am on the sheet and those being lined up in front of the right hack, I would be very tempted to try to just go for that double. But you got to play to the strengths of your team. This team definitely is a better drawing team.
Sweep. Up.
Yeah, I think so. Not a lot of room there to get behind
It didn't curl much.
those rocks. It's always tricky when rocks are in, in the top 12, in the top 8.
Good job.
Skip calls the draw behind, but from the hack end, it really looks like there's not a lot of space to get in there. Kind of have to trust that.
Yeah,
you have to.
You have to be pretty gentle on the weight and almost throw it pretty wide and let it just fall in really hard and come around. As it is, that goes into the back of the 8-foot, and it's hard to tell exactly which one is shot. They're both almost in the 12-foot. The Yellowstone pretty much completely exposed on the center line, though, so I think red team is going to exploit that. Go on the attack here.
Where is it again?
This one's starting to curl a lot. And it looks like
it's going to curl off the yellow. Oh, it's actually not even going to get anywhere near that.
Yeah, they said
So
5.
it's going to be a good center guard.
I had my listening ears.
not sure that's quite what they were hoping for, but it does still leave the yellow fairly exposed to the back. And looks like it's hard to say who's shot at the moment.
Yeah, I think something maybe like top 4 to guard to be shot and then guard the second one if it happens to be second shot. I wouldn't mind either maybe playing the sort of the peel or the double peel. A lot of good options here for ways to move forward at the end. Just putting more yellows in the house, certainly not a bad way to try to go about getting multiple points. Especially with a team that's been relatively precise on the takeouts.
Sweep.
The Furman rig has. So you want to try to just give yourself a lot of ways to score. And this is going to go right over the button into the back of the 4-foot. So it does line up very well. The line was nearly perfect, but just maybe about 2 feet or so more weight than they would have looking for there.
Yeah, a really nice try there. A really nice effort. Just 2 feet can make all the difference. Now you've really got a nice pocket for Furman to draw into and really kill the scoring area in this end. But
yeah, Furman can freeze onto that yellow and basically cut the scoring zone down to just the pin. Or even because the center line is sort of open, she could even just come in here and probably make a nice solid double there. Going for the draw, though. Yeah, the tap or the free is definitely the easier shot here than the double. So no need to
a lot of weight here.
Risky.
Looks like they will take the back one. No, just take it over.
So now definitely no question as to which stone is second shot. But that Yellowstone still just behind the button.
Top 8!
And Linda says top 8, which I agree. If they can just make sure it outcounts the red, then that will be a great spot to be in. So they want to get that same line they just had, right on the center line. And line this up. Probably just biting the edge of the floor would be a perfect spot.
Yeah, this one taking a bit more ice. So
the weight call here, very critical. The sweepers really need to know exactly how far this is going to go, how far to drag it.
This one's starting to curl hard.
Take it when it bumps
Looks
off.
like it's going to end up being a tight center guard with a little bump off the red here. So that's not a bad result either.
That works.
No, that's... while it didn't get in to be a second point, it does take away the hit opportunity, or at least a hard hit opportunity.
Maybe thinking about, no, still thinking about the draw here. Still think they can get by and make the freeze.
Yeah, the way the stones are moving sideways should be an opportunity to come around.
This one looking heavy again. And
They're ready
not
to
finding the
take
way
this
there.
out the back, and there it goes. So now Linda calling the shot for Lisa, calling for another draw, top 8. I still think that probably is a good play. Have to be careful. It looks like she's even taking more ice, which I'm not sure I agree with. Just because if you leave this, say, if you get the weight and put this in the top 8, but you leave it exposed. Oh, this is even falling out. This might even.
Sarah, don't burn it.
This might even hit the sideline.
Yeah, it looks like Lisa lost her balance on
Sweep
that
it,
one.
sweep it,
Just
sweep it. Bring it in, bring it
threw
in,
it
bring it
offline.
in, bring it in.
Okay, so it's going to stay in play, but it's going to be way out there past the corner.
Okay.
So it doesn't really help them much. Didn't hurt them. I think, if anything, they maybe should have played closer to the center line. Because if they could hit the stone they just threw, they could move that back to top 8. Be second shot. Have it with the cluster in the middle undercover.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I think it was a little too much ice for the shot they were trying to play, and then with the loss of balance, of course, double whammy. So.
Oh yeah, I mean that's just an unfortunate break there on the delivery.
But still looks like they're still looking at the draw here. You could also look at the run back, run the top yellow into the one on the button. Not an easy shot, of course, but the reds don't look very raceable on the right-hand side.
Yeah, the reds are all overlapping. The yellow one is definitely there. Run that in, clear out the one in the back 4. Always risky raising an opposing stone into the house. If something doesn't go right, you just gave another point away.
Yeah, you would run the risk of, if you get the angle slightly wrong, you can catch your own red and spill that out. And then all of a sudden, there's 3 yellow in there.
Yeah, that red is the only thing right now between yellow and a big end.
So possibly just going for the freeze again.
Oh, or maybe a guard.
Yeah, you could also guard here. I think that's a good point. You could say, yeah, sure, you can have 1 point, but only 1.
Oh, well, the skip came up out of the house and pointed up in the front there, so I believe the call is the guard.
Looks like a good guard weight.
Yeah, looks like they've probably got about a 2 guard.
This one dying quickly. The sweepers need to work hard. And I don't. Oh, wow.
Oh, Dave asking if they were seeing throwing through on C. And that's pretty likely because that 6th end score that we couldn't see, I can now see. It's been hung.
What was that?
And it was a 5-ender. For the yellow team, the Bucks County Freeman rink. So Bucks County is leading 8-3.
I'm going to come in.
Going into the 7th.
Oh, God. What is it, 5 picks?
And on sheet
5.
A, that is 3-2
if I come in
Bucks
here, I'm
County.
fine
Yes,
too, 'cause
Lynn
I don't
over
think I can get
Gallegos.
to it. I'm going to kill myself with this thing.
And the 4th end posted on sheet D.
Plan is to try and do what she did.
That was
Try
a
and come in
1
up here.
for
If I
the
come
Adams
in here, I'm
rink.
fine. I just don't
So
want to
they
get
are
too
still
close to ours.
behind
White is
4-2
also fine because it blocks it up.
behind the Hall rink out of Schenectady.
I know, but I think
So it looks like maybe just trying to draw in here as well, or sit in the top 8.
okay.
Just choke things off. Be careful you don't want to leave some sort of double.
All right, what I don't want to be is too heavy. Okay. And I'm fine with light. I'm heavy.
Linda releasing us and saying she thought she was heavy.
But it might work. It's going to work.
It doesn't look too bad from this angle. Maybe.
No, it's turning the other direction again.
Okay.
It's like a few, maybe just lazy handles here from Linda. Said a couple of those.
I think so. Watching that on the replay on our monitor on the delay, looks like that stone really wasn't rotating at all as it was curling in there. So it doesn't take much to accidentally have that pick up and turn the other direction on you. So she's still lying shot, and she does still have the hammer, so she's still got a good shot at getting her 2 and tying this game back up. But not if Lisa Furman has anything to say about it. She would love to get in there and cut that scoring zone down. Oh, and we've got a 5th end score posted on sheet D as well. That was 2 more for the Hall Ring, the Schenectady team. They are leading 6-2 after 5.
Really tough shot to get in here, but it looks pretty good at this point.
This looks like it might be light, actually. Like it's going to settle in as like a 3 guard. Yeah, that does not get to the rings.
I know we're sitting 1. I'm thinking
Well,
bump this one in.
blocks off
Yep,
draw.
Linda
So
says she wants to bump one in. I think if she's talking about the one on the center line, I think that's a good call.
Okay.
tough shot though, Mike. You think,
It's definitely tricky. There's a lot of different ways you can make a mistake here.
It picked over there, yes. Again, I thought I could come in
But
here.
she's thinking of all the right things. You hear her mentioning where on the sheet there was a pick, and so she wants to avoid that spot.
Yeah. All we need to do is sit right a little bit further.
If she throws this with the sort of right like T-line-ish weight, and if she over curls and hits the red, the way they're lined up, I think they would split, and so she wouldn't accidentally raise anything in and take her point away that she already has.
But I think maybe draw this in.
yeah, so looking for a safe play here
There's, yes.
to try and get your second point.
Yeah, let's do.
And you really only need to. You have some room to score here. That red is only just full 8, so.
Yeah, you've got at least the whole 4 foot, half of the 8 foot circle available
Okay,
too.
try to do what I did the last time and draw in, only I'm not going to be so wide.
So, Linda calling for the draw here, but that ice seems like very close to that red.
She's saying
Okay.
draw, but she looks to
Teamwork.
be setting up for the tap.
Teamwork. We are a great team.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. That looks more like a tap on the front yellow is likely to happen. So we'll see what the final call is. Maybe just choosing her own ice. Maybe she's thinking she's throwing a little wide. So maybe just tightening up the brim.
That could be true. Maybe if she is wide, she probably could get outside of the red stone and just draw. Just a clean draw to the 8 foot, which is what she looks like she's going to have if this stops in the house. Oh, it ticks the red. Yeah, I think that was maybe just not quite being able to make up her mind between the clean draw and the raise. And so she ended up throwing sort of in between the two.
Yeah, I think so. And it's always tricky when you get in the mind you have several shots, but you sort of still need to focus on plan A and try everything to make plan A. You can get caught in between things, and then you end up achieving none of them. So, but still a score of 1 there for Potomaly.
Yep.
Yes.
So we've got a
And if it
4-3
doesn't,
game.
Plan D.
Furman
Don't help.
over Kirkman.
Exactly. Yes. Don't help. Oh, wait a minute. It's me.
Yes, Linda, you scored, so you have to throw first.
top 12, I'm fine. Lighter is better. Lighter is better.
Yes,
Kill the
Rita.
sweepers.
Rita, we've got Bucks County games on both A and
No, just have them sweeping so
C.
hard.
So while we have our feature game on B,
I know,
the
maybe
games
they're
on either
cold.
side do feature Bucks County teams.
Maybe they're
And
cold.
we
They
will
need to warm up.
bring
I'm
you
just
scores as we
looking out
can,
for
and if
you.
this game ends before those, we will then turn the cameras toward one of those two for some bonus coverage.
Okay. Or you, either way, that works.
I'm cold, yeah.
You're cold, yes. I'm just looking out for you. You know how it is.
Never mind. Sorry.
Okay.
So Linda's first shot is a draw that goes through the house.
Nice one! Wait!
You see?
So the time that was hung on the sign here says 12:22, which would mean that they have about 22 minutes to finish this sixth end, but to be able to get in and play
Exactly. They
eight.
love it.
But that really seems like it was a very long time from the start, unless just felt like this game was playing slower than usual, but maybe the games just take longer from the broadcast chair here than they do from out on the ice.
Top 8, top 12 is fine.
But it looks like most of the games
It's
are
that
in
light?
the sixth end. The game on D is nearing the end of the sixth end. The game on A is nearing
Deep as we can
the
go.
end of the
Deep
sixth
as we
end.
can go. Deep as
The
we
game
can
on
go.
C is actually beginning to, or
I thought that
most
was
of the way
over
through the
there.
seventh end, so they're well ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a lot of deliberation in this game, and then we had that confusion about the rules early on, so certainly put this game a little behind some of the others. So looking to draw behind those sort of staggered guards. This one looks to have a lot of weight, though.
It's definitely got at least probably
No.
T-line. It's not slowing down yet, though. The ice speeding up a little bit. Back 8, back 12, back line. Nope, back 12.
I worked hard for that. Not quite hard enough. It didn't go all the way out.
That's fine, Linda. You didn't really need it to. Well, you don't have the
All right,
hammer, so
ready?
actually you might have wanted that on the way out. But
Come on down.
the whole house is still open to you.
8-4 is fine.
Draw under the guard. Good call. Linda definitely looking to steal here. A force is good too. Keeps you down 2 with the hammer. A steal 1 ties the game. Either one, a pretty good spot to be in.
This is Rainey Delaney throwing the second stones for Linda. Rainey very solid on the draw normally.
Yeah,
So
really nice line. Looks to have good weight. It's going to pick up the break. The sweepers need to get on that to drag that into the house. Another guard, not the worst either when you don't have the hammer. So we're going to leave that.
a really nice weight there
Right
from
up
Rainey.
there. Very nice. Top house draw weight.
Okay.
So that is going to be the shot stone. Looks to be maybe partially under the guard from where I'm sitting. But I'm sitting sort of behind the house and to the right. So I don't know. Here we go. We see it on the monitor. It's actually not much under the cover at all. So Lisa Furman Furman says the mantra of skips everywhere. Nice shot, take it out.
A lot.
Absolutely. Looks like we'll catch a piece of this. Will catch enough to move it out? Looks like it.
Yes. Shooter peels out. Object rock leaves the back line.
Put it back, Rainey.
And we're right back where we were 2 rocks
Put it
ago.
back.
So we have a nice draw, followed by a nice takeout. And we're back to the draw.
Looks like just take a little less ice this time. Rainey was a really great weight on the first one, so.
Yep, if she can repeat the weight and hit this broom, which it looks like she has, she might have a little bit more weight.
It's got a curl.
That
it's
will
got a
help get
curl.
around the guard, though. Here we go. It's starting to
Sweep
take
it,
that
sweep.
dive.
No,
It's a
no,
little
no.
heavy.
It's
Let it come in,
burying
let it come in,
nicely,
let it
but it's
come
going to be a little deeper than they wanted it.
Yep. Which
Oh,
was
it
planned to-
stays high
that's why I had
enough
come in
to
from the
technically be
outside.
the shot stone, but not enough that we're going to start saying that that one's going to be shot at the end of the end.
Oops.
And yes, Dave pointing out big steal for Monica. Yes, that's over on sheet A. You can see the scoreboard there showing the steal of 4 for Team Lynn throwing the Redstones over Sharon Gallegos out of Ardsley. So the Bucks County teams
Throw in
on
behind
A
it.
and C both having some big games.
Top 4.
Bucks County, a relatively new club, compared to some of the others in the GNCC, but establishing themselves as a curling force.
No. I don't say yes.
This one looking a little heavy. Looks like it's going to go all the way through.
Moving over, maybe using the other stone as backing. Oh, it touches but doesn't stop. But technically now yellow is sitting first and second shot. None of them convincingly yet, but
So still plenty of room here to bury a stone. Have plenty of backing for it.
those 3 stones together only using about 1 of the 12 feet of the house.
I think the conditions of the ice may have changed, and both of the teams are having a little bit of difficulty finding the right weight.
Yeah, they have actually adapted really well to the change in movement from it running pretty straight at the start of the game. They've really picked up the line, and they're getting these under the guards right where they need them, but not getting them up around the T line where they're looking for.
Yeah, this one looking heavy again.
This one, again, coming over around the guard nicely. And it's going to come down almost to the yellows. So now we're using more like 3 of our 12 feet of the house.
Yeah, I think they would have liked that higher, but once they knew it was deep, they decided to bring it back and try and freeze to those yellows. And so I think it's going to be following them down.
Yep, probably the right call.
If it's light, then sweep it!
Oh, this one curling early. I think it just didn't have the weight. Oh, it's still coming down. It's still coming down.
No, you don't want to bump the red in.
I think
That's
that
why
was
I
good
said
weight,
up,
but
yep.
maybe just
It
not
wasn't gonna
enough
get
ice.
past,
Yep, that's
which
fine.
is why I called you up. Sorry, I'll have to yell louder.
And
So have you heard my sweep?
difficulty communication there from the speakers. It is very
Okay,
loud
then
in
I'll have to
the
get
ice room, so
Up for being sweep
it
loud.
can be hard to hear what's going on. Hard to hear your skip over the others.
All right, though, Linda was concerned about that bumping the red in. I think it was light enough, though. Even if it had caught that red stone on the nose, it would not have bumped it into the 8-foot circle.
to count. And as it is now yellow now with a center line guard, could help her maybe try to turn this into a steal. This stone curling over pretty hard and perhaps looking like it might be light. Oh. Into the 12, into the 8 to sit second shot. Should be all there for the hit though.
Nicely positioned though. It provides more protection for their existing red, and yeah, it is available to be hit. But question is, where does the red go?
Yeah, with that pile behind it,
sit on it and we're closer.
We're running out of places to move
and
it to.
If I'm really good, we just draw in. Okay.
Playing for the draw behind their own guard, not bad. If you can touch the 4-foot, then you've definitely cut down the scoring zone. Maybe set up for the steal.
Yeah, certainly you can make the draw, but I'm not sure I like this call, Mike, because already 2 reds in there, and our team has struggled to find the draw weight. And you really have no backing at this point on this side, so I would be tempted to throw a soft weight at that red, at least tap it back to the back of the house, maybe try and roll under. But they have decided they feel comfortable with the draw, so.
Yeah, and I also would be tempted to throw a hit, but I'm almost always tempted to throw a hit. Ever since I sort of discovered my takeout weight, usually prefer to just remove an opposing stone over doing anything technical or fancy. If they don't have any rocks in the house, they won't get any points. That's the way I look at it.
Very true. It's a very satisfying feeling to take out opponent's rocks. I certainly agree with that.
I play curling basically the way I played checkers. If there's a capture available, I have to go for
it. So this one looks like it's going to come up a little light.
Yes. Dave describing his plan. Plan A hit, plan B hit, plan C hit.
And I think that would have been a good plan at this point, but different call was made. This one came up light, so actually making life more difficult for Potomaly there, the way that's finished.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike the call for the draw. It's a good aggressive shot call to try to just bury it in there and make them come after you. But inability to execute on that call there, though. And now it leaves them with probably even fewer options than they had a moment ago.
She called us off and back on.
Maybe she was hoping to try and pull it into the white. We're doing well. Yeah. Considering they're 1-5.
So some thinking here for Furman to do. Already lying 1, well protected, but sorry, lying 2. So maybe
and that we're hanging in there.
Try to guard it up.
Oh yeah, they were lying 2.
So.
The one in the back is the shot stone. It is pretty well protected, as you say. The top one protecting the back one pretty well and is about half covered itself.
They've been playing together forever.
So they may be concerned about the fact that the draw is still available on the left side of the sheet.
Yes, the draw around is there, as is the raise. There's nothing behind that yellow guard, and it's very tight to the house, so it's not a long raise to put that into the 4-foot circle.
So you might be tempted to maybe get there first, draw around the yellow guard before Linda Kirkman does. Although Linda only has 1 stone remaining, so.
And I'm doing better.
Yeah, guarding the raise, probably a good play here. Or guarding the draw to force the raise. Either way, there's basically 2 good ways to get the shot here. If you're yellow, so covering either or.
So it's neat.
So yeah, looks like they are going to guard up that raise. Not a lot of ice taken though. I'm a little surprised at that. I think they would take a little more, but they must feel that's right.
You're right. I don't think they expected it. I thought they were
only really accounting for maybe 2 feet of curl on this.
And the way they've been falling, I think this is going to overcurl for them here. Unless they're throwing some weight at this, but I would imagine where they're pointing it is guard weight.
This looks like it's nice guard weight.
Yes.
They're looking to put this on the center line, and it's coming back that direction.
No, they're trying to promote theirs. Yep. They're trying to promote theirs.
As you say, it is overcurling.
It
It will end up just off center line
So I said we swept.
on the right hand side, but
So it covers takes away the takeout up the middle there.
so now I guess Linda will decide whether she likes the raise on the yellow or likes the draw. Those seem to be the 2 options remaining.
Kick this one.
And she's looking at the raise.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a nice raisable stone there, really close to the
All right.
rings. You'll need
See
to
if I
move
can
it
pull off how many good draws?
probably
can I pull off?
3 feet. You can get it into the 4-foot circle and then leave
Okay.
the shooter above it.
It was light. Okay.
Really
I
would
was trying
force
not to be heavy. Okay.
would force Lisa Furman to come down with probably, I guess, like a run back, or maybe a tricky draw, depending on how far
Try and
back
draw
the
it
race
again. We got
goes.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be
We got
shot I
9
would play at
minutes to
this
start
point.
the
Would be
next
the
one.
tap up.
Yep.
Got a little bit margin for error.
9-8, something like that. Okay.
9-8, I guess, is the weight she's calling, sort of like a back 4, back 8 weight, I guess.
It must be, I think, yeah. I don't think it was a split time because there would be.
Yeah,
extremely,
I mean, if
heavy.
she's talking about hog to hog, then that would be like a normal weight takeout. And if she's talking about a, back to hog, then that wouldn't even get over the hog.
So I think it must have been the area of the house she was looking for.
Sweet!
This one curling early. Looks like they're going to tap the red.
They're going to clear the red out of into the pile, spill over. So while it doesn't affect the stones in the house, leaving red lying 2, it does make it pretty challenging for them to get a 3. So certainly not the results Linda was looking for. In that she's now is going to give up at least a 2 this end, barring some sort of mistake with the
I should
hammer.
have called you to sweep.
There's some
sooner.
danger here, though, with all those yellows out front.
I wavered and wavered and wavered.
You'd be tempted to almost go very wide on the right-hand side of the sheet as their throwers are looking at it. Go around everything, because you only need to get, well, just biting the 8-foot.
Yeah, you don't even really need to touch the white. Touching the white is enough. The applause in the warm room is for the game coming off of sheet C. We do have the final score, or we don't have the exact final score, but we do have that it was in fact the Bucks County Freeman rank defeating Eringo Curlin, the team skipped by Gray out of Potomac, Leslie Gray. Actually, that's not a Potomac. Yeah, that is a Potomac Gray.
So here is Lisa Furman.
Yeah.
The hammer. And this one looks like it's over curling. And didn't have the weight either.
Okay. Well,
We've got a 7th end score on A. The Gallegos rink, yes, as Dave just pointed out as well, that's a 4-ender for Gallegos. So after 7 ends, our score is 7-6. Bucks County over Ardsley.
we just didn't
Lynn
want a
over
measly
Gallegos.
1. We want 3, so we had to give it that. So we put the hammer again. You see,
And on sheet D, after 6 ends, the score is 8-2 in favor of Schenectady Team Home.
So we've finished our 6th end here. It is about, I can
honestly about. I can look at my phone here and see that it's 12:16, and the sheet on the wall says 12:22, so that does mean we have finished in enough time to go to all 8 ends, should the 2 teams not concede before then.
Top house. I'm fine if you're light.
Linda says it's fine if she's light, and I would concur because being down 3, you're actually, I would think, looking for some guards. I mean, putting one in the house early isn't a bad idea, but against a team that's been pretty good on the takeouts, I would be hesitant to do that.
It's going to tick off of that sweep, 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 and then take the roll.
A tick could be good. Not enough of a tick to move it off of the center line, really.
Good job, Rainey. Good,
but
good,
does
good,
leave
good.
both stones as free guards.
So that turned into a tight center guard for Linda, which is not ideal for her with the hammer, but does give her stuff to work with.
Bruce asking about Plainfield on D. The Plainfield, the Adams rink, currently behind by a pretty good margin. The team Hall out of Schenectady is leading 8-2 after 6 ends. I can't see the far house. It looks like Plainfield is lying 1 at the moment as they move to what I think is the second vice stone. But I'm just trying to count rocks I can see, and there's a lot of people in the way.
Meanwhile, a really nice draw there from Furman's team.
That
right
is,
in the
wow.
top 4.
Look at that come around, seeing it on the delay. Wow. Just past the guard and onto the top of the button. Very impressive come around. I think you almost just have to go ahead and make the run back here. Yep. You don't want to leave that back there too long. If they start putting up more guards, you'll never get to it.
Yeah, I agree. I like this call. I think it's an aggressive. Nice to throw some weight. I think it's the right call. The center guard's not helping you. And since it is your own, you can remove it from play. This one a little wide.
A little wide. If it makes any contact, it might at least tick the guard out of the way.
Looks like they will. No, wow.
They didn't get the tick either. Unfortunate miss. I've seen that a lot at the other 500s, the mixed and the men's. The leads especially, not particularly accustomed to having to make a takeout. You don't do it a lot as a lead. So when it comes time to throw the weight, it's hard to find both the weight and the line at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not easy shots, and I think if you don't throw them regularly, it's hard to feel comfortable making them. So, a shame there. It was inches away from a nice peel. So, but another draw coming in here,
and just painting the button at this point. It's Team Furman.
So really nice work there from the front end of Team Furman. Second rock looks to be available.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, the second rock, it looks open that you could come in, hit it, maybe slide behind and sit on the button.
Come down.
The run back is still there and could be a run back double. Definitely need a lot of weight for that, but even if you just split them up and move them out of the center,
Can we put this
with the
into
sort of
this?
plan B's, plan C, plan, oh well, at least we got something out of it, is just, you know, ticking the guard and opening up for just a solid heavy hit up the center.
Yeah, it looks like that is what they're going to do, and I think that's right.
Sweet!
This one a little tight for line.
It's holding its line relatively well. It's crossing the center line, but doesn't cross the whole way. Ticks the guard, puts it into the rings.
Hey, it cleared it, it opened it up. I'm fine with that.
Yep. You hear Linda say she's fine with that. It opens it up. They've got a rock in the house now. And there's nothing covering the two red stones on the button.
I expect we'll see a guard here on the center line. Furman, check those stones. Swan seems to have pretty nice guard weight.
All right, Rainey, just draw right in here.
Yep, maybe just a tiny little bit over curled from where they wanted, but it covers the double. So if there was one spot of all the spots to cover, that probably is the most critical one.
Yeah, so Linda changing tactics and going for the draw instead.
Just important not to be light here. It doesn't look like Randy was.
Sweep! Sweep, sweep, sweep! All the way, all the way, all the way, all the way, baby, all the way, all the way, all the
Swan
way.
looking pretty good for a freeze or a tap. Oh, just rubbed off the top one.
The top
It
one,
helped.
which wasn't what they wanted. It is in the 4 foot. If it's still only third, the two reds each still touching the button.
A score just posted on sheet D after 7 ends. It's 8-4 in favor of Schenectady Team Home. And on sheet A, we have a close one. It's 7-6 in favor of Bucks County.
Can you come through here?
Linda asking the vice,
Or can
can
you
you
clear
come
this
through
out?
there? I mean, I guess technically, I think
clear
there's
that
about
out?
a rock width between those two guards. It would be very impressive if you could shoot that gap and make that double.
Yeah, I think the weight that you have to throw to get
Clear
through
it
there.
out.
I would definitely be, personally, I would be very eager to try, but I wouldn't have the utmost confidence in the end result.
So maybe just seeking to move some of these guards instead. And if you do go through the hole, then, well, great.
Sweep!
Looks like they're already on the guards on the right-hand side. Curling actually very hard over onto the far right guard. Kicks it back through and doesn't actually change the situation on the center line at all.
Yeah, so not shaping up favorably for Potomaly here. Too many guards out front and the two reds buried. And Furman will be quite happy to keep guarding this up. They may end up raising something here.
Nice little flop off of the tick on the guard that was already out there. Rolling onto the center line. So whatever port was there is definitely not there now. So I think Linda just has to go for a peel here to try to hope that she still has a shot when it's her turn.
I think so, Mike. Not a lot of palatable options here for drawing in.
Yeah, there's definitely no way to get to shot now. But if you can clear one or both of those center guards, then it's open again for a hit on at least one of the reds that's in the forefoot.
You know what?
Let's listen.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick that in. Kick this one in here. Kick this one in here. Unless, I don't think you can promote that one. I'd really like you to clear this garbage out.
There you go.
Can you clear this? In here?
What's the house look like?
Clear this out.
We can maybe cut over to the overhead on that sheet. You can definitely see a little bit at the moment, or at least
Hard! Hard! There.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Drop the
Got
level
one,
on
got
the
two.
skip mic there while they're yelling hard, hard.
That works.
Yes, so we're getting some requests for the final shots on A. We're actually about to get to the hammer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch our overhead to A. We'll keep you covered for the sheet cams on B. But then as this stone is called and delivered, we'll switch to that overhead, and you'll be able to see the final shot on A. At the moment, it is yellow, Gallegos lying 3 with Bucks County's hammer here. Bucks County throwing the hammer. The stone is away. She hits her stone in the top 12, runs it in, takes out the Ardsley stone in the forefoot, but spills out and leaves Ardsley sitting 2 in the top 4, which I believe is going to make that score 8-6 or 8-7 Ardsley.
Yep, let me see.
Ardsley down 1 and without the hammer, but manages to get the big steal of 2.
But I think it's going to take ours out. I've got to hit it. I think let's just yes, I'm just measuring. Huh? I thought about that too, to kick this in, but I've got to hit it.
Handshakes and hugs all around. Both teams very excited about how they played that game.
I've got to hit it right here to kick that in. That's what I was saying, yeah. I've got to hit right here to kick that. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
in the meantime, Linda, a lot of deliberation with her vice.
I'm
Looking
really
at some
narrow,
sort of
kick
raise
that.
here.
Don't be wide.
Maybe trying to raise this yellow into those reds on the button.
Yeah, all the ladies from A all sort of talking to each other about the game. They're all right outside the door. I expect as soon as that door opens, you will hear the warm room erupt in a ovation for a very well-played game.
Yeah.
We have handshakes on sheet D also.
Oh, yes. I was like, no, we don't, but now we do, yes.
Schenectady Team Hall.
And there's that applause we were talking about for the game on A.
I really want to try and come through the middle. I'll save that for next time, I guess.
So to the wide contingent in the chat from Bucks County, or rooting for Bucks County, sorry we couldn't get wins for both of your teams out there, but we did have the one on C victorious.
I got it.
Linda's got the angle raise.
No.
Oh, just a little wide, but
Oh, wow.
oh, she does put it in the forefoot, but the redstone still touching the button to be shot at the moment.
Okay, now I don't have to come through the middle. Look at what?
Part of the goal was accomplished with that shot.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, really good shot there, but still lying one red. About as good as you could hope for.
Yeah, definitely a
that's right.
pretty
I
good
know.
execution on what was a very
I
tricky
know.
shot.
It's, oh, exactly. We're giving it a fair shot. We're giving you a workout.
And the warm applause for the game on D. That game, the Schenectady Team Hall,
And this isn't the
victorious
first time
over
we've been
the
last on the ice.
Adams rink from Plainfield.
Nothing. And we still got another end. Yep.
Lisa Furman, good weight on the stone, taps the guard,
Oh,
runs it to
Yep.
almost butting the 8
but
foot.
you know what? The hole is wider now.
So at the moment, it's red is first, yellow second, red third and fourth, and beyond that, it probably doesn't matter. Asking if they have time for
Right
one
through.
more. As far as I can tell, yes. The time hanging on the sign on the window says 12:22, and they did finish the
There's
sixth
a what?
before
Red
that
right
point.
there? I can throw it really hard.
But that does seem rather long from when they started.
What was that? Are we shot? No, we're not shot.
I thought they started
Okay, so
closer
I
to maybe
still,
10:30,
Ah,
which would have made the
Wait,
time more
do
like
the other shot that I
12:10,
wanted?
but 12:22 is what's
okay.
posted.
Or I bumped that one in promote. Yep,
So a little more deliberation here for the
that one into there.
Hammerstone.
Well, I did the last
A
promote.
little bit miscommunication going on.
Right.
Maybe the vice not certain of the
So if
ice
it's
that Skip
narrow-
wants, and so Skip coming back down, discuss things again.
Ugh. There's nothing that's good.
Not a lot of easy shots here, so whatever they take on is going to be difficult.
Yep. Yep. Yep, we could kick that.
You could
Yeah.
maybe try and do a red double through that hole in the center line, but very tight pour and a lot of weight has to
And
be
there's
thrown.
still only
Yes,
giving up
technically,
one,
I
so-
think they do
okay.
have time for another
But
end.
it's still one.
Realistically, if Linda doesn't score here, that probably does effectively end the game for her, being down 4. Yes, thank you, Ashlyn. We did confirm
we're
that
gonna try
earlier.
and hit
The
yellow
Potomaly
over there
is a
into our yellow.
conglomeration of Potomac and Philly. The
Yeah.
vice, Lisa Carosella, is out of the Philadelphia Curling Club.
The other
If
three
not,
members,
we-
Linda
they only
Kirkman,
have
Rennie
one.
Delaney, Sarah Heiskell, are from Potomac.
Sure.
So it looks like going for the angle tap here on the outside yellow.
We're going to try and first
A
thing
chance
is-
to get a
first
2
thing
here
is
if you
trying to
can
draw in between
get these to
yellow
go
and red.
exactly where you need them to.
Okay.
Probably a more likely single.
Or
The one
Can
that's
we
already
kick
in the
their
4 foot
red
doesn't need
into
to
our
move very
yellow?
far to be shot.
Yeah, these are really tough on the outside,
the
though.
red, yeah, that red. Can we? No,
You got to hit that yellow at a fine angle.
no.
Oh, now she's
Oh.
talking about maybe the
Can I
red
kick that
onto
red
the
into
yellow.
our yellow and get it?
I'm talking about red
Okay.
into yellow. But
Okay.
it looks like going back to the
and with
original.
the, and with the
Really
backing,
now.
red onto yellow onto red probably does end in a yellow single. But I think down 6-3, I think you really need to look at a way to try to get more than a single here. Because even if you have another end to play, down 2 without the hammer is not a spot you want to be in.
No, absolutely.
No.
So they were caught between options there, and it looks like they did go for the angle tap, and this
They've
is
got
close.
the tap, and didn't quite raise the yellow and didn't quite take out the red. So that is going to be another steal of 1, which is going to put our score at 7-3 in favor of the Ardsley ring, skipped by Lisa Furman.
What?
And I guess they will decide whether they want to play the 8th end.
What?
And it looks like they will carry on.
I don't know what she was asking. Let's see. 2 days ago, we played 9.
Yeah, so they did.
But
Yeah, based on the board, they can play this 8th end. But with a 4-point lead for
so how many are you
Ardsley,
up? Did you get 1?
I do
So you
believe
got
that
how many?
it's
I
going to
don't-
be
I
a
can't see the
pretty
score.
academic 8th end.
Okay.
Uh,
3, 2, 8, 10.
Lisa Furman's going to call for the lead stones through the house. Linda is going to need to put up some corner guards to
right,
try to
Sarah.
turn this into a
Top
4.
8.
But she's calling for in the house. I think that is going to spell her undoing, at least in this particular end. The rest of the undoing haven't been done in the previous 3 ends.
Yeah, I think so. With a team like Furman, very solid on hits in this game, so you're not going to get too many flashes from them putting rocks in the house.
Yeah, you need to take advantage of that free guard zone. You put up some stones that they're not allowed to take out, and then use those to be the foundation for your scoring stones.
I know.
Especially because
I
they
know. Okay.
only, quote unquote, only need a 4, as opposed to
Alright.
needing 5 or 6. You can put up 2 guards and still have 6 stones left, of which you only need 4 to go in the house.
And just in this draw, we saw
When
2
we
or
lose
3,
that-
4 or 5
we
enders
lose
on
the
the
other
other
one, we'll
sheets.
just stop.
So it is possible.
Yeah, big ends do happen, especially at the 5 and unders, where you're more likely to see maybe a strategic mistake or a missed shot at a critical situation. This has pretty good line to make this hit. They would really love to spill out of the house, but I don't think they're going to do that.
1.
So yeah, that's and Brandon, not the worst thing to do. Definitely just keep throwing the stones until you're
Take it
absolutely out of the
Shot.
game. 1 yellow is now out of
Alright.
play. If you can get 5 out of play, then that will be the mathematical elimination.
Yeah, and now Potomaly now drawn into a hitting game early, which has not been their strength in this game.
No, and it's definitely not the way you get a 4-ender.
Got the weight.
So
It's curl.
really need to take advantage of the guard zone.
No, don't
So
sweep.
this hit
Don't
does look
sweep.
good.
Don't sweep.
Looks online.
It's got the contact, but it's going to spill. So that's going to be 2 yellows out of play.
2.
Rocks of any color are your friend right now.
Absolutely, John.
Yes, and that's why you saw the Furman rink start with the lead stones through the house. When you're trying to get a big end, you just need a lot of rocks on the sheet. Whether they're yours or the other teams, you can freeze on or hide behind the other team's stones as well.
And here's another one, just going to go straight through.
Yep, once the house is clear, red definitely doesn't want to leave a rock in play.
You are. All right, Brandy. Come on down.
And now that the guard zone isn't in play, in the house is the only place you can put this.
Anything in the house.
Because even if it's a guard, red will probably just peel it.
Yeah, really have to start. When your opponent's hit and stick, then you want to start freezing onto their rocks and try to use those, move them around. It's really your only chance at this point.
Weight's heavy.
Or hope for a mistake.
If she throws the
This
next
one needs to put the
stone
brakes on.
and it
Looks
goes
like it
through,
will.
they
Sit down.
take it out.
Round about the tee
this is
line.
good. If the
Very
if
nice
the
draw
two
weight
more
there,
out.
right in the top 4.
What side do you think?
And with no guards, as we talked about earlier, it might be better to put rocks on the towards the outside edges of the house. Those are harder to hit out.
Yes, they're harder to hit out and more likely that an opponent's stone might stay in or roll in to the center, giving you another chance for a freeze.
All the way! All the way!
This
All the way, guys! All the way!
a little bit soft for a takeout, but it curls across
Nice shot.
and is spilling to the side and stays in play. So now I think the play here is probably to try to freeze onto that.
I think so, Mike, but it looks like they're
going
going for the takeout.
Takeout.
Not sure that's the right call, really, at this point.
This hand.
Trading rocks is not going to get you the score you need.
Wait a minute. No.
Nope.
I think
so Linda reconsidering.
Oh, nope.
This handle.
Still going for the takeout, just changing the handle. Okay.
Sorry.
But I think, like John said, in this scenario, the opposition rocks are also your friend.
Line is good. No. No.
Leave them around, move them around to the back of the house, use them to your advantage.
Sweep, 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 sweep.
Well, this is coming in soft, so I think it's actually not going to be the takeout. It's going to be just a little tap back. But the red does leave the house.
So Rainey Delaney doing what was asked by the skip. 2 nice shots there. And expect we will see more takeouts here from Furman.
Yep. 3 yellows already in the rack. So a takeout here does leave yellow with only 4 stones remaining and all of them having to count. They do need to come off of this, though. It is not curling over. And that is not going to make contact. So one unfortunate miss for the red team.
So Linda going to guard her rock here.
Not a bad plan. I mean, at this point, everything just has to go in the house. So if this ends up, in the top 12 above the rock that's already there, it does help. If it sets up a double, then it just lets them essentially be eliminated from the game again. So splitting the house, I think, may have been a better option, but at this point, everything just has to go in, so there's not too many ways out of the end here.
Yeah, and a double is set up there, so opportunity for Furman to make up for that last miss. Remove both at once. This one must be close. The sweeper's called on and off.
They've got the top one.
touches the back one,
That's
but
it.
it doesn't leave the house. But Linda is going to extend the hand. So that is going to be your final score, 7-3. The Lisa Furman rink out of Ardsley, Lisa Furman, Karen Lucky, Taylor Block, and Evilise Horniak over the Potomaly, Potomac, and Philadelphia team of Linda Kirkman, Lisa Carousel, Rainey Delaney, Sarah Heiskell. We also saw Sharon Gallegos win on A. We saw Team Freeman from Bucks County win on C, and we saw Schenectady, Team Hall win on sheet D. So those 4 teams advancing in their respective events. And we will be back momentarily after we turn over the ice and get the next teams out onto the ice.
Congratulations. That was
Does
great.
anyone have anything
good
else to
game.
add, say, thank, shout out?
No, thanks for all your hard work, Mike, and all the commentary, and to John.
Oh, thank you for keeping us abreast of the action there with your camera skills and your seductively Scottish voice.
Well, I do my best. And yes, we'll be right back with the next draw.